is Little Metal Foxes live tooltips
Tooltip
for
Tuesday.
you. Tooltip Tuesday, getting it all going, and we've got some tips for you today. Hi,
We do.
it's me, Jennifer from Little Metal Foxes, and
Helen from Little Metal Foxes Down Under.
here you go. Yeah, let me get that fixed. There we go. Oh, okay. Who have you got there, Helen?
I have my new friend from one of our students as a thank you for other things. And I just wanted to make sure everybody knew how much I love my new Fox Guardian and studio mascot and all that. So
He's so
thank
plushy.
you,
So
Tracy.
fluffy. Oh my God, I love it. I love it.
I know it is going to get a place of honor somewhere here because if I take it to the real studio, I shouldn't say real studio, but if I take it to my glass and metal studio, then it will get desecrated. And I don't want that.
It'll get scared there. Don't take it there.
It'll get a little dirty.
Yeah. Keep it where it has other friends to keep it company. All right.
Exactly.
So, hello, Helen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. So
I'm
I,
sorry, I'm distracted by a cat. She is being naughty.
as usual.
Go. Don't be naughty, cat. Yes, that's where you're supposed to scratch. Sorry.
Oh my,
Sorry, I don't want it's because we're renting and I don't want to have to pay
oh yeah.
to replace carpet.
Oh my God.
So anyway, sorry.
No. Hi.
Oh, good
So
morning.
so as you know, the this weekend I was teaching the mold making classes, uh,
Yes.
using different materials that can help produce molds for the studio use, whether you're doing resins or waxes or PMC, works for all that stuff, and more. But we talked about a bunch of different mold materials as well,
Hmm.
RTV putty, RTV liquid, and one of the ones that we talked about is renewable. So it's recyclable. You can
When
actually melt it down and make a new one out of it. So it's like this endless amount of mold making you can use. So that's really cool. But
so when you say RTV, what do you mean by that? Just in case people don't know.
room temperature vulcanizing silicone molds. And so instead
Oh.
of making a vulcanized mold, which takes heat and pressure, and you're usually using like a raw rubber, or
Hmm.
there are silicones that vulcanize under heat and pressure as well. The RTV molds, they do come in different colors, but they come in clear, so I can
Uh-huh.
see and cut my model out of the inside, and I can see as the wax goes up in that it's filling properly.
Yep. And it's really cool when you go pew, like
Right?
bing.
Yeah, it's like whoop, and like fills up like a silly straw. It's awesome. So normally when you are doing that, you're using these kinds of like the Castaldo molds like this one.
Yeah.
Um, and it comes with, an aluminum frame, and it's got a
Yep.
built-in sprue former in the bottom. It comes with a couple of plexiglass plates and
Hmm.
a set of rubber bands that hold it all
Which is
together.
awesome because I wouldn't have expected it to include the rubber bands because rubber bands.
Well, and these are like super wide, so
Yeah.
they're really good.
They were
The
going to hold everything in place.
right. So basically, it comes like in a little pack, like with the frame, and then you put your thing that you want to mold in there, and then you pour the liquid RTV in there, and it has the rubber bands that just to hold it all together.
Yep.
So we talked about that, and one of my tips for that is that when I am making a mold, um, it's hard to know how much liquid you're going to have to mix to put in
Hmm.
this thing, how much it will hold. So a lot of people are guessing and they end up with either too little or too much. And that can be a problem while you're in the middle of mixing and you don't have like enough to cover your mold, and then you've got to whip up another batch. So the first thing I would say when you're mixing your material, use a 3-cup method. Don't just mix part B into part A, like measure them and pour B into A, because you end up with residue in cup B that doesn't transfer, and you weighed these out to be the same,
Oh, right. Yep.
right? So you get 1 cup weighed with your amount of part A, and you weigh out the other part, part B, and then you pour both of those into another cup, and whatever residue is on the cups stays there. It's the same. And you're pouring it into a third cup that you can mix it into a little more easily, and it's going to weigh the same amount rather than having way too much like A in your mixture. So the 3 cup method works pretty well. Um,
Yeah.
but then you're kind of like, okay, so how much do I actually need for this thing to fill up? So what I've done is actually measure out when and record it on the side. So
Mm-hmm.
this frame is 3/4 by 3/4 wide by
Inch.
2 inches and is about
So roughly
five.
18 millimeters. Is that right?
Let's see. It is.
Hold on.
Hang on. I've got it here, I think. Let's see.
Yeah, it's roughly 20 millimeters
Yeah.
wide by whatever.
Yeah, it's 19 millimeters wide or 3/4 inch, or and is or thick, and then is about 57 millimeters wide this way,
Yeah.
or about 2 inches. And then in height, it is about um 130 millimeters tall, or about 5 inches tall. So,
Cool.
so
Yeah,
the
sorry. I just, it's nice. So, if you can convert for our metric friends.
yes, absolutely. So this frame is standard. You can get this from Rio for about, or jewelry supply places for about 20 bucks, the whole
Yeah.
kit, with the sides and the rubber bands and all. Um, and what I did on the side of mine was I marked the levels because usually at this point,
Oh, right. So
I'm
you
usually
get a little
doing ring.
volumetric information there.
Yep. So I've got my ring here, and then I know that that's about the height for my ring. It's going to be there. This is about the height for like an earring or a taller pendant, and then up to here, for bigger parts.
Yeah.
I know that for the ring size, it's about 78 to 80 grams of
Mm-hmm.
mix. So I have 40 and 40 that I'm usually mixing.
Yep.
At this middle level, it's about 120 grams, which
Mm-hmm.
is 60 and 60, which is easy.
Yep.
And
Easy
then the
peasy.
top one I've got is about 160, so 80 and 80 of the two-part one-to-one mold mixture. But that way I
That
know,
is great.
yeah,
That
so
is
I know
very
and
smart
remember how much it's gonna, how much I'm gonna actually
because
use.
it's right there on your tool.
Exactly right. So what I did, because I have a 1.5 inch, which is
Oh,
double in size, I just doubled the numbers on this one.
oh, yep. 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 Yep.
Right.
Nice.
So
Very
this will
smart.
give me the volume that I need doubled, basically. So this one, instead of being 3/4 of an inch, is twice that, right?
Yeah.
So these can be like I said, about 20 bucks a piece if you're buying them as the kit. However, Helen, I went to
And
my
here comes the amazing thing that you can do when you make your own.
exactly, exactly. So I went to the hardware store and I was able to buy aluminum frame like this. And you can buy it in different widths. And what's nice about
Super
that
smart.
is if you've got something that's a bracelet or a heavier ring, because 3/4 of an inch is kind of narrow. So you can get it in
Yep.
like 1 inch, 1.5, 2 inch. So if you're doing something like a bracelet or a mold that's a little more volumetric, you can buy the aluminum strips. And this one was a
Yeah.
72 inches long, and which is
They're
almost
about
what,
six
two
feet or
meters?
2 meters ish.
Yeah, about a couple of meters long. And then I can cut it down into the
I
size of
know. That's so smart.
that I need. So I
And
had that
how much was that 72-inch strip?
20 bucks,
There you go.
and
Money saving.
I can make about 5 or 6 molds out of this.
Yeah.
So
And it's so easy because all you need is the strip and something to bend it with.
yeah. Now, I had them cut this at the hardware store, so I didn't have to like saw through it.
Yeah,
And the place that I went did it for free. So it was really nice of them to sort of, I said I need one that's, 14 inches and one that's two that are 16 and whatever else is left. And they were like, oh, okay,
yeah,
great. So they just cut it down for me. And so the whole thing cost me, I think it was like 24 bucks including tax or something. So
yeah.
so now
Awesome.
I've got a couple of flats that I can bend into shape when I want them. And I have to credit James Terry, who's the one that sort of showed
Yeah.
how easily this works. I worked for him at Outcasting Company when it was still around, and that's was a casting company here in Seattle. But what he would do is take these strips and put them into shapes that he needed that were specific
Hmm.
to whatever mold he was customizing. So he might have like a big
Oh.
heavy mold or big heavy part that he could actually like make a big U shape out of one of these
Hmm.
and then fill that up. All you have to do is make sure you've got like either plastic or glass plates to sandwich the sides, and,
Right.
and you're good to go. So I've got one marked out here that I was going to make a little bit wider because the one I've got is also 2 inches wide this way.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
could use the same plexiglass on it.
Oh, right.
I
Yep.
just
Yep.
needed it to
Yep.
be thicker instead of the 3/4 inch. But if I need one that's wider, I wanted to have a bigger box area that I could do
Yeah.
this. So what I do is actually put this into, let's see if I can get this aimed over here. Hang on, let's see if I can get the camera aimed over here and do this. Do, do, do.
Yay. Alternate camera angle.
There we go. Hello there. Yeah. All right. So there it is. Aha. So this vise doesn't allow me to get in there all the way, but let me see if I can flip this. Yeah. This way. There we go. Pretty close.
Magical vice. What?
I know, right? Yeah, this has like pipe holders and stuff on one side and yeah.
Nice.
So what I can do is just clamp this in the vise. And what I want to do first though is I've got my measurement marked, but I do want to make sure that I am going square with this. So I've
Oh
got,
my God, that you're using as a little T-square.
right? So another cool tip. So sliding it down, and I've got my little T square, so I can make my line there and my line there. Because what I want to avoid is getting this cocked in an angle because I need
Yep.
it to be flat for me to be able to put the sides on so it doesn't leak. But now I've got my lines top and bottom. So this one's going to be about 3 inches wide. So this gives
Hmm.
me a lot more width,
Yeah.
an inch more width than my smaller frames. And plenty of height on the sides. So for something that's like a bigger pendant or a bigger object that I need a mold of, this works great.
Yep.
Put this into my vise here and just make sure it's centered on that line, like so. And then I can, oh my God.
You can do it.
I know, right? Ugh. And it is aluminum, so it will bend. There we go.
Yes.
And,
And you put it in the center of those two marks because you're trying to accommodate for the bend of the curve, right?
right. So I was going to make it wider, actually.
Or the curve of whatever. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
So,
talking
so I
about.
usually set it right on that line or right above the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the biggest part is making sure that it's straight because if it's
Straight. Yeah.
crooked, yeah, it will be shifted like that, and you don't want that. Okay, so I've got it centered on my line, and you can, I don't know if you can hear it, but it's going and crunching
It's
down.
like, no, no,
Yeah,
no. And you're like, sorry, dude.
there we go. Ta-da,
Awesome.
old frame, ready to go. Yeah.
And
So,
then,
aha. So now I've got a much bigger frame that I can use for, maybe a bangle, big hoops, a bigger
hmm,
piece. And so when you buy them, they usually come with the little sprue former in the bottom.
yeah, the little cone in the middle.
And you can buy those. It's like they're a couple of bucks a piece. They usually are maybe $3 a piece. You can get 10 for $30 from a jewelry supply place, and you can glue those right in the bottom if you want to, so that you've got plenty of sprue formers ready to go. But you can
Yep.
also just put a little, put a little bit of wax there that you're putting your
Yep.
model onto, and that works fine too. It doesn't have to be metal. It can be just a piece of, wax or, I think even a little bit of
Yeah. I mean, if you know somebody who
clay
does
or
3D printing, you can get
yeah,
them to print you
absolutely.
some
Yeah,
cones,
absolutely. So now I've got, a nice big frame that I can use for all kinds of
Play-Doh,
stuff.
whatever.
Yeah, exactly right. So I usually just use wax because that's what I'm working with. And
Well, yeah, and you can actually, if you've already got a mold, you
yeah,
can just cut off, you don't have to inject the full mold. You can just cut off what the cone part and
right,
then use that for,
right, right.
yeah,
So if I needed something that was kind of low and wide, I could even use these same plates, and just make sure they're, attached with some tape or something to the
yep,
sides. Because the silicone's thick enough that it won't like seep out very easily. So if I'm doing
right,
something that's kind of, low and wide, I could use these, or I could get some other, glass or plexiglass that would, sandwich on the sides like that.
yep.
So,
Oh, that's awesome.
but yeah, I love having like I can kind of be use these measurements and be like, okay, so I know that, volume wise, I can pretty much take a good guess as to how much it takes to fill it. But
Yep,
now that I have that measurement, but this gives me, you know, a lower, wider mold
yep.
or a much bigger mold for things like, a bangle, would fit in here fine.
Oh,
So
yeah. Or, a cuff bracelet that's,
yeah,
not too,
so I might have to make something. So if my cuff bracelet's, yay big, I can be like, "Ugh," open that up a little bit and have a little bit wider mold if I need one. But I've got more aluminum. So if I want to make something that's even
yeah,
wider or bigger, I can do that pretty easily. So don't be afraid to make your own because these are, I mean, that was easy, right? I mean,
yeah.
have them cut it and you can bend it easily. So there you have it. Um, yay. Hang on.
Yay.
Back over here. There we are. Yay. So there you go. Make your own mold frame.
Awesome.
Easy to do.
Very easy to
And
do.
it's
And, uh, I mean, it's super accessible. You can use whatever kind of saw that you want on the aluminum because it's super soft to cut.
yeah,
And,
absolutely. So you can use a
from like a
hacksaw.
regular chop saw to your hand saw, it's not going to be,
Exactly
you
right. Yeah.
know, yeah.
And you may want to, if it's a little sharp, just, hit it with a file or something or some sand.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean,
Little bit of
it's
sandpaper.
it's fine. But you can use plexiglass, pieces or glass.
Yeah.
Be careful if you're using glass because obviously, if you're, snapping it on, it can break a little more easily.
Yeah,
Um,
I would say make sure you're not using like your regular picture frame glass. Use something that's at least, quarter inch to 6 mil, somewhere in
tempered,
that range. So it's a little stiffer.
yeah. But you can pick up the plexiglass, at any craft store.
Tap Plastic, my favorite place in
Yeah,
Seattle.
that
But they
plastic.
are also nationwide, so
Yeah,
you
but you
can
can
order
use, I mean, if
online.
you're, Michael's and they've got, some little sheets of plexi
Exactly,
for
yeah.
framing, or I've got, some other plastic that I've got that is like a stand-up display. I've got a whole bunch of those, so I can recycle those onto this, and that works fine. So yeah, so I can, transfer my measurements onto this one, and it's good to go.
Awesome sauce.
There you go. So
That's
what
great.
with yours though, because you're doing a lot of open molds and
Yes.
for PMC, for glass and wax as well. And those are usually one-sided molds.
Yes.
So for making molds with the and you're using different colors of the RTV mold because it comes in like blue and
No, I just usually either it'll be like the blue stuff or the clear, like whatever you would get for because my for me, I don't need my molds to be super structure integrity. It doesn't have to be stiff.
yeah,
Because I want to be able to pop things out.
right. So a softer
So I
durable.
just yeah, and then I do cardboard and tape and then whatever container that I have on hand, like an Altoids tin. Of course, with an Altoids tin type thing, it is a little harder to get the silicone out, but I'm just mine. I usually leave enough room, so I'm not going to be,
Yeah. Yeah.
damaging the actual
Yeah.
important part.
But the cool thing is, if you're doing something like that where you need, like for a bracelet mold, you can use something like
Oh,
a
yeah.
yogurt container or a
Yes.
butter container, cut the bottom off of it and turn it upside down, tape it down or hot glue it down to a surface,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and then put your piece in there, glue, secure it to the bottom, and then pour
Yep.
your TV mold on top of that. And
Yep.
you've got a bigger mold. But it's, those kind of containers work great because
Hmm.
this stuff doesn't stick to the plastic at all, so that works really well.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, the only thing, like, if you're making if you're gonna make your mold for like a ring type thing like this situation, I would tape the cardboard or paper that you're gonna use, because the silicone will seep into the cardboard, and you'll have residue.
yeah,
You'll have cardboard bits.
yeah,
So you want to make sure that that's nice and clean so you can actually see when you inject.
yeah.
You can,
But you can
you
use
know.
packing tape on that.
Yes. Yeah, packing tape, any scotch tape, any kind of, even painter's tape.
Yeah,
Um,
the silicone
as
won't
long
stick.
as you're lining the cardboard with that, it'll release more cleanly than just cardboard alone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So there are lots of
There are
solutions
options.
making the frames, which I
Yeah.
think is really, really kind of cool because I know James would make, bigger frames out of all kinds of stuff that he would kind of Frankenstein together. But it's, I mean, using paper that's just, big enough to be able to make that mold, works fine because like I said,
Hmm.
the viscosity of the mold material is usually too thick to just seep out like water. It's more
Yeah.
like a heavy glue, so it's
Yeah.
not gonna like just run out the mold. And there are lots of different, as Helen was just saying, there are lots of different uh, hardnesses, the durometer or the toughness of the mold. If
Hmm.
you're doing something like a jewelry mold where you have to have it like really return to the same shape and you're kind of peeling it out of that for jewelry, usually you want
Yeah.
something that's in the Shore A 20 to 40 range.
Hmm.
And for something that has lots of delicate details that you need to like, kind of squash blossom blossom it out of, you might want to do something softer like Shore A 15 to 20, So the softer ones are going to give you more like elasticity and more,
Yeah.
they're much, much squishier. And then the higher numbers that you go are going to get harder and harder and harder. So the
Yeah.
hardest that is usually used for jewelry molds is in about the 40 range. So those are pretty tough for like a good jewelry
Yeah.
material. But yeah, those are measured in Shore and it's Shore A.
Yay.
Shore 00 is used for measuring gels and foam that's really soft. And then Shore B is used for measuring things like plastics that are stiffer. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
if you're looking at like the Shore, it's usually going to say um, like 20A. So you know that it's Shore A. Yeah,
Awesome.
that's how you know. All right,
Yay.
Ellen, there we go. So yeah, go out there and make some molds and have some fun. Or if you want,
Yeah,
uh, sign up for a mold making class.
I know. We schedule those regularly, so keep, if it's not on the schedule now, which I don't think it is, because we just did it. Um,
Yeah.
Go
Look
back to the
through the
website,
video.
littlemetalfoxes.com, and check to see what we got.
Make sure to like. Are you liking it? Hit it right now. Like and ring the bell, subscribe, all the things that are good. And don't forget, we've got a couple of hundred of tooltips on here. So go back and
Yep.
watch some of those. We've got some great guest people that come in and do tooltips with us too. So those are worth watching. So if you need something to watch or listen to in your studio while you're working, turn on some tooltips.
Yay.
Let us play in the background. All right, you guys. We'll see you next week for Tooltip Tuesday. Bye, everybody.
Bye.